Pierre Marquette 1225, famous for being one of the two surviving PM Berkshires and being featured in the 2004 film Polar Express. Except, wait a minute, this isn't 1225! On the 14th of January 2026, which happens to be my birthday, an image would surface with 1225 renumbered and wrapped in a C&O livery. This would be met with immediate discreditation. However, that was quickly countered by an official source. Now, you may be asking, why is 1225 masquerading under the C&O? Late in 1225's service career, it would be inherited by the Chesapeake in Ohio. Following their merger with the PM in 1947, the 284 would be renumbered to 2659 and receive C&O lettering before being retired in 1951, after just 10 years of service. Steam Railroading Institute, in collaboration with Lerro Photography, would bring this piece of history back to life, albeit with some slight alterations. One of the goals was to have the C&O for Progress emblem on the tender. No more than 3 Berkshires received this treatment, with 2659 among the majority without. Due to this, the 284 would receive the number 2699 to remain historically accurate. Other alterations include the addition of its old single-beam headlight, as well as C&O 307's street chime. We would move to the west side of town in front of the old Woodard Furniture Building. Until the 1950s, this large brick structure served as a casket factory. After its closure, it was repurposed for office space and continues to serve as such to this day. We'd head over to King Road for our shot around the curve. However, the train would stop for a photo shoot a couple miles back. We'd hear the departure over the radio, and moments later, a parade of photographers would arrive. train would come to rest, allowing the 30 or so photographers to disembark for the next photo shoot. A photo line of at least 50 people would form, and the event director would give the go-ahead for $26.99 to start doing run-bys. The train would pull back to pick up the passengers from earlier. In an attempt to charge my camera, I would miss the train pulling ahead. Upon this, we decided just to wait at Carland for their final show. The photographers would once again deboard, and an even larger photo line of at least 70 people would begin to take shape. Once ready, the train would reverse to the previous crossing to begin its final run-bys before nightfall.
roll the one at the top. Copy it down into the Photoshop. Yeah. That's not a bad
As dusk set in, the train would stop for a 45-minute intermission. The cameramen would board the train to keep warm and begin unloading lamps for night lighting, all while the Carland Road crossing kept ringing. After almost 30 minutes of adjusting lamps, 2699 would begin moving again for night photos. After a short stop, the crew would pull back for more run-bys, starting at 5 miles per hour all the way to track speed. The event would come to a close and the photographers would disband. We would head to King Road for a final time to get a shot of 57's gyrolite, which it retains from its days on the mark. For the final shot of the day, I'd prop myself on the stairs of the old furniture factory for an open shot across Cass Street. 57 pulling into the yard for the night, we'd conclude our outing and head back home. With that said, thanks for watching and I'll talk to you all later.